Welcome everybody, welcome to the show. It is me, your boy Rico No Suave, ready to go. Let's go. Oh, wait. You know, one of the things about what I love to do is make sure that I'm back here with you, and we're back. Oh man, you know, I got red on today, everybody. Yes, so I know that you're probably like, wow, Rico don't look like himself today, pero take it easy. Take it easy. It's a special show today, everybody, and I'm so happy to be back. So welcome to the talk show. And if it's your first time, don't forget to share this video and just love it, right? Love it. Tell everybody and their grandma, abuelita, tell everybody about it, that Rico No Suave, we are here right now. All right. So, you know, there's a lot of things that's been happening over the weekend. And, you know, of course, I'm a big sports fan, man. It was good to be on vacation. Love you, moms. It was a great vacation. But you know one thing that happened, it was a Sunday, right? And Sunday is football. You know, here in Chicago, there's a big game, a big rivalry that we call it, and we call it Bears versus Packers, right? And, you know, we had a lot of anticipation. We had a lot of things that we really wanted to happen because I'm a Bears fan, bear down. And, you know, it didn't go the way we really wanted it to go, right? But I have to say that NFL is back, and I'm super happy to be back for football. Now, where I'm going with this is, of course, we lost. You know, the Bears did lose, and a lot of things was happening. I'm still a Justin Fields believer. I believe in the kid. I believe in the coaching staff, but I know there's mix and matches of feelings going around here, right? But last year, we went against somebody that we call, you know, Aaron Rodgers, right? And, you know, Aaron Rodgers, you know, of course, all of this whole thing about vaccination, all that stuff that he was talking about. And, you know, yeah, he was giving it to us every year. And he found a new home, and he's at the Jets. You know, and things that happens with Aaron Rodgers is that I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I'm a big fan because I know that he's a Hall of Famer quarterback. Got to give him his props there. The one thing that I didn't like is because there was arrogance involved. And, you know, here in Chicago, we humble, man. We love people. We love everyone here. And, you know, no matter how much you have, I've met a lot of great people that have money and, you know, they're very humble. But he moved on and he went to New York Jets. And I have to tell you is this. It didn't go well because all of this hype that we actually have about Aaron Rodgers just kind of went down the drain. And I have to tell you, I do not put, you know, anyone that gets injured, I know it's hard. That's a brutal sport. Even like boxing, you know, when you get hurt, man, you get hurt, like, and it takes you down. Well, a lot of people have talked trash in regards to, you know, if Aaron Rodgers was on the Packers right now, he wouldn't have went through that. Well, that's not fair to say. But he did come out with a new movie, and the internet is savages. They are savages. So I can't believe them that they did this. They said, go in 60 seconds. He only had 4 snaps that he actually did. Next thing you know, a former Chicago Bear, Leonard Floyd, tackled him. He hurt himself. And now he actually made another movie called Gone in 60 Seconds. Now the whole thing about the Jets itself, and I was kind of rooting for the Jets because I like the Jets too. Wasn't rooting for Aaron, but I was rooting for the Jets, you know. And now that, you know, people are saying, you know, he's gone in 60 seconds, you guys are savages. I mean, you guys are so wrong, but I had to do this for you guys because, you know, my people out there, I love you. But, you know, bear down, Bears fans. He's a Jet now, so... yeah, so I'm sorry. I just had to do it because I know that, you know, Aaron Rodgers always loved to be on TV and he always wanted to be, you know, in everybody else's business, and we giving us his business, and that's just how it is. So everybody that loves Aaron Rodgers, we wish him well, man. We do wish him well. We hope that his injury is good, but we got to get down to what really matters right now. And this gentleman that's actually here today. Yeah, this is my guy right here. This is my guy. Big shout out to Donnie McCoy for actually introducing me to this gentleman. I gotta switch hats because you guys don't understand what's happening today. You know, when it comes down to, you know, 80's hip hop, there was graffiti There was breakdancing. There was 80s music. Gotta make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure my hat is right. Did I get it right? Hold on. Let me make sure it's right. Okay. All right. 80s music. And then you have what played 80s music back in the day was the boombox. The boombox was iconic, but also graffiti came along with it. There was people that was just loving to dance in the streets. And it was music back in the day that actually gave us some really great direction of, hey, it's all about love and peace. Let's dance. We can battle and all that good stuff. But there was always a boombox there when you press that play button, or if you ever want to actually record and you were listening to the radio station and you're just hoping that, man, these commercials need to hurry up because I want to get back to this mix or this next song that's actually coming up. And it was just a great thing. This gentleman here has hit every single piece of that. And this journey that he's actually taking, which we call him the muralist, I want you guys to stand up. If you got a spray can, just shake it. We got my man, Johnny Vergara here. Let's go. What's up, my man?
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
It's good to have you, man. Sure. It's good to have you here, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Me too, man. Me too. Before we get started, we got the boombox here,
sure.
And we're gonna get into what matters as far as with you and your life in a boombox. But do you have any shout outs to anybody you want to give out there?
Oh, man, I just want to give a shout out to the love of my life, Toy McCarty. She's out there watching, and she's a big supporter. And all my, friends and family and everybody that supported me throughout the years, in my art journey. For these past 30 years. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a long ride, but it still ain't stopping.
Let's get it, man. Yeah, Let's get it. All right. So we talk about graffiti. We talk about art because, people do, get influenced by some others and movies and things like that. Mm-hmm. Tell us, how did you get as a painter in art itself? How did you get started in that?
I've been creative. I come from a creative family. Okay. Mom, my sisters, my father was a musician. My mom was, she was a seamstress. She was, she did, sewing and whatnot. And my sister was, one of my sisters was really, really artistic. I just come from an artistic family and friends, and especially the community. It was really that's what really, really did it for me, was the art. Coming up in Humboldt Park, that was that was the beginning of the journey. Just coming out the house was like, boom, art, so yeah. It's been all my life.
So with, when you did step out of the house, what were the things that you saw that actually influenced you to be able to man, I'm so glad to be in Humboldt Park. I'm so glad to be, because there's a lot of salsa going around there too. So, and of course, with that, what year would you actually say that that actually started to influence you? At what age would you say?
Oh, I had to be about 6 or 7 years old. There was a song that came out, and a friend of mine had a boombox, and it was in 1979, and it was a group called GQ, mm-hmm. and they were singing. It was a Disco Nights.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was, I heard that in my friend's boombox radio. Uh-huh. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. And I was just unique to see somebody walking around with a radio, and I had never seen that before. But hearing the song, it was like disco and playing on that radio, and it was kind of like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Yeah. And my father always had transistor radios, and every time we would go fishing, I was always in charge of the radio. So I always had a radio in my hand as a kid, So that was that was where the influence came from.
Did they get you the baby radio? Was it the small?
I had all kinds of radios, man. Yeah, the big ones, the small ones. I even dropped one in the river with my father fishing.
Did you?
Yeah. So there's always been a radio in my life. Always.
Yeah, that's cool, always. Man. Yeah, because I remember, when I was little, I had the small baby radio.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
The small baby little speakers,
No, definitely.
And of course, my brothers, they all had the big, the big boom box as well. When we talk about being creative, though, we talk about what makes you feel, as far as your family influenced you in regards to creativity. What path did it take you down in regards to where graffiti? So when you saw graffiti on a wall, or when you actually saw art, I should say, what was it that you actually saw that just made you like, wow? And where was it?
Yeah, there was a specific mural that I remember growing up as a kid, and it was because my father used to taunt me, and we would go driving to the liquor store or to the store, and he would always tell me, sit in the back, be quiet, or else the guy in that wall is going to stab you with that stick. And it was traumatizing growing up to drive past this mural because it was creepy to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's on the intersection of Artesian and North Avenue, and it's called the Crucifixion. It's one of the oldest murals in the country.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was one of a handful of the oldest outdoor murals still out there, and it was just crazy that was the mural that really started it, because every time I would drive past it, I walked past it. Then I went to school behind it, and it was just like,
man,
I couldn't get away from this mural. And then, 20 plus years later, I'm chosen to do the restoration of that exact mural.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a really cool, way to just get into the arts. There was a long story with that mural, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
I can believe that though, because those are the ones that stick in your head, right?
Yeah, it's stuck in my head. It still is. It still is. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, big shout out to Papa, that actually at least introduced you to that, right?
Yeah.
And of course, your family, were they also into art as well too, or was it more like music? What was the creative side that helped you continue?
It was really music.
Music.
It was really music. My family was really deep into, of course, salsa.
Yeah.
But there was a big funk music was definitely the key. The music for me. Yeah. And as hip hop evolved, and once West Coast hip hop came, I was just like, I'm done. That's it. I love East Coast hip hop, but that funk infused hip hop from the West Coast really did it in the mid 80s. Yeah, it really took me to a whole nother place.
Some of the artists that you used to listen to growing up, what were some of those that always, like, no matter what, you rocked it?
Oh, it was Sugar Hill Gang, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh yeah,
definitely. But NWA was really hit hard for me.
That's when that gangster started.
Yeah, that's when that funk gangster rap came. And at that time, my life had taken a weird turn.
Okay.
And that was the music for me at the time. So definitely.
Yeah, I think with some of my other friends, when NWA came out, you definitely saw a different type of aspects of things, and then you saw a different way of things. I think, growing up also, Run DMC had a big influence as well too.
Absolutely.
In regards to, what also caught me was them working with other bands. Like, it was hip hop, and then they also included rock.
Yeah, it sure did. Was it Aerosmith?
Aerosmith.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah.
Walk This Way was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that was the one that turned hip hop into another level of music. Yeah, that was when it was infused with that rock music. That was never heard of.
What was the clothing like, of course, because being an artist, and this, of course, we're all getting to a point because of that era, right? And where you are today. Where was it with clothing that made it creative also back in the 80s for you?
Well, for me, because I was a b-boy, I used to break dance, and everything we had was loose, and way too big for us. Whether it was the shoes, I remember break dancing, my shoes would fly off and hit somebody, or my clothes. It was just the baggiest clothes you could possibly wear. And but it was that was really that was it. Right
that was it, right?
Yeah. It was b-boy, and you had to be comfortable when you were breakdancing.
Did your family also, did they do kind of like bell bottoms? Did they do afros?
Absolutely. It was afro crazy in the 70s and in the early 80s. Yeah, definitely, man. So it was, the Puerto Ricans.
Exactly, Papa.
We had salsa. We had flavor.
Of course, I ask these questions because, some of the things these are memories, right? These are memories because of what we have right in front of us. And also kind of like in back of us as well, too, as you can see the painting. I think that when you look at a mural, you're looking at community, right? You're looking at also revolution, right? You also look at what people fought for back in the day when it came to freedom. Right, when it came to what happens within the community as well, right? And then it also comes with war of racism back in the day. Absolutely. Right? But when it comes to certain murals, besides the one that you saw that was scarred, that scarred you, was there any other type of graffiti that you actually looked at? I'll use an example, B Street.
Yeah.
Right? B Street, Electric Boogaloo, the trains.
Yeah.
Did you ever look at the murals as far as from the trains itself and be like, man, that is a work of art?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing was, growing up here in Chicago, graffiti was in a different place. The graffiti you saw on the street meant violence. It meant beware. You welcome here or don't go there. It was a different kind of graffiti. It wasn't, you did have your graffiti, your bubble letters here and there, but the majority of the graffiti on the streets was street related, gang related. And it was a different type of art. And that was, even for me growing up, that was attractive because it was so bold and crazy and scary. And people were like, oh God, we can't go over there because of that mural says don't go here.
Right.
So it was a different time. And when you would see like New York and the trains, you would see it on TV. It didn't really happen like that here as much as it did on the East Coast. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was a different vibe here.
There's definitely, because there was a lot that was involved as well too.
Absolutely.
With corruption. We talk about corruption. We talk about the gangsters and things like that. And even during that time, they had territories, right, that they actually had. So was there, when it comes to painting, because I definitely want to get into that, when did you actually start? Did you do graffiti back in the day?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Talk us through in regards to when you did graffiti and how that started to become kind of a passion of murals for you.
Well, yeah, I growing up, a lot of the murals that were in my neighborhood were cultural, political. They spoke about pain, family, culture, and things like that. I was really into the graffiti, the street graffiti, not the actual graffiti you see like in New York. So growing up, I always had a spray can and whatnot. But when I started involving myself in different organizations in Humboldt Park, that introduced me to my culture more. And I got a chance to learn more about my people, the struggles that they have and where we come from. Then it was kind of, that's how the infusion of like culture and street art all kind of like mixed together. And that's where it really kind of started, and maybe in the early to mid 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of your artwork that you came out with that you was like, man, I'm proud of that?
Absolutely, man. It was actually, there's a lot of them. I put a lot of pride into what I do.
Yes.
Everything I do, I do my best.
Yes.
The best I can possibly do. So I'm really proud of just about everything I've ever done. But there is one specific mural that it's not a big mural, but it means a lot to the community, and it's called 79th. It's a actual. I'm the founder and creator of the 79th municipal flag of Puerto Rico, and it's here inside the United States, in Chicago. So which actually it represents the people of Humboldt Park. It doesn't represent the Puerto Rican people only. It represents all people of that community.
Of that community.
So it's the Humboldt Park flag, not the steel flags. It's a town flag.
Sure.
So because there's 78 towns in Puerto Rico. So now we say there's 79. So which means Humboldt Park. So yeah, that's one of my biggest accomplishments in the art world as far as like murals and just bringing something like that to the table. Yeah.
So, because back in the day with graffiti, there was times where you had to get away from the cops because they didn't want you putting graffiti on a wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it came to murals, though, was that a different story in regards to being able to put up a mural for something more iconic like that?
Me personally, I never really had issues with the police or anything like that. I did have a police officer one time question me about a mural that I was putting on a wall. And he kept bothering me about it. I was there for a couple of days. So I decided to paint my fingerprint as big as I possibly could on the mural. And so that way, and when he came by, he goes, "What is that?" I said, "That's my fingerprint. Just in case you want to do a background check, you could go ahead. It's right there. Just scan it. Just do your thing, man." And the mural's still there. It's on North Avenue and Keystone. Man.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tribute to Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." It talks about gentrification and displacement of people and stuff like that. So it's right on the intersection of North Avenue and Keystone. But you can't miss the fingerprint. It's like 5 feet tall. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah.
I love getting deeper into stuff like that because because it means something.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
It definitely means something, and when it does mean something to us, it means us to us minorities in general, right? Because
absolutely.
it's a culture for us, right? And I think what happens is that it makes it feel as if, hey, if I take a picture with that, I'm going to frame it. I need to be able to make sure that this lasts forever.
For sure.
Right? When you're thinking about making a mural or during that time of the 80s and 90s, how did it come to your head as far as being creative to know that's what you want to put on the wall?
It really depends on the situation. Sometimes it's just kind of something to just be creative, and then sometimes it's something that's happening in my life or in the community or in the world in general.
Right.
So it really depends on the circumstances of what's happening. Then the creative part takes over, and it does what it does,
Do you sketch it out? Do you sketch it out first?
I used to sketch everything out. Now I just freehand just about everything I do.
That's cool.
Yeah. I go right in. People are like, "What are you doing?" I'm just, "Shut up. Let me paint." And then there it is. So yeah, I've done that a couple of times and scared some people, man, and especially restaurant owners. They're like, "No," and I'm like, "Yes, just leave me alone." But it worked out. They loved it afterwards. So,
right,
yeah.
and that also gives some attraction for people to come to their restaurant too.
It does, especially when you're in the way and you're painting and everybody's trying to go back and forth to the kitchen or to the restroom, and it's like, yeah, here, excuse me. It's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun.
I admire you, bro. I love your work. I love what you're doing. I love the whole iconic legacy that you're putting out there, just for the people of Humboldt Park, but also for Latinos. But you also are putting it down for the people that may be going through some things, maybe to understand the reason behind the picture. They always say that, putting up a painting relaxes people.
Yeah.
Right? Putting up a mural. My friend, my boy Mauricio, he put up a mural in his house, and when I saw it, like, bro, you gonna really do that? It's like, yeah. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And it makes you at least look at a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And now with your murals itself, during that time, there's always a purpose because you did something for like Marvin Gaye. Can you name some of the ones besides the Marvin Gaye one that you actually did, and the flag, of course, you put the flag out there. Did you also have any other ones that actually mean something for people?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a couple of them. There was the most recent one was a large mural that I painted out in Bellwood, Illinois.
Nice.
It was for an up-and-coming restaurant or bar and grill.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're open yet, but it's actually a mural. It's right on Manheim Road and off of Chicago Avenue, somewhere in that area. It's a tribute to the African American and the Latino kind of mixture. Yeah. So we decided to do a mural for our Sammy Davis Jr.
Nice.
Lino Horn, Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
So it's a massive mural. I can share some pictures, but you can see it on my social media. But it's the thing got to be at least 40 feet tall and about 80 feet wide. It's really, really big.
Wow.
So it's right on Manheim Road. You can't miss it.
Yeah, man.
And there's another one on it's called the Legends mural. It's in the Humboldt Park area.
Okay.
And it's a tribute to 4 artists and poets that are no longer with us.
Okay.
And I took the lead on that project because the artist that was originally going to paint that wall passed away.
Okay.
So I added him in that tribute.
Yeah.
And Gamaliel Ramirez, one of my mentors in the arts, one of the most unique artists in Chicago.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he passed away during Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico.
Oh, man.
So
rest in heaven.
Yeah, definitely. So that you can't miss that mural either. It's massive. It's the entire side of a building, and it's right there on the intersection of Pierce and St. Louis and Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah, Pierce and St. Louis. You can't miss it. Just look up Legends Murals Chicago and you'll see it. Yeah, definitely.
It's always good to see it in live too. Right?
Yeah, you got to see it in person.
You got to see it in person, and it's good to be able to take pictures, to be able to keep that in your memory, keep that in your heart. But people need to understand the reason why it's behind that as well too, my man. So, man, I am just I'm amazed at your work, man. But I'm amazed in your purpose. Right, that's why I have you on the show, of course, because this makes a big stepping stone, not just for yourself, right, being on the show, but for more people to see exactly your work. Before we take a quick commercial break in 5, hip hop. We talk about hip hop because hip hop was kind of what we used as an expression for ourselves with breakdancing. Talk about disco. We'll talk about disco too, because you focused on disco as well. When it comes to you putting up or doing the art, which one did you prefer to listen to when you were actually doing your work?
Absolutely.
Which one? So was it both of them? Was it hip hop or was it actually funk and disco?
It's funk and disco. It's funk and disco, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I go, man. My wife will tell you. She'll tell you. It's like I'll be jamming out in the back to my funk and disco, and she'll be jamming out with me too, man. Just be painting. That's the music that puts me in the zone. Yeah, that's my childhood music. So that's definitely for sure.
Does it make you? Does it also? Does it delay your work as well too? Because sometimes we get to dance and not focused.
If there's whiskey involved, yeah, it'll delay my work. But other than that, no, it doesn't delay my work at all. It keeps me moving. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's good because that's of course we tend to dance. We like to dance, right?
Yes,
so and it
do.
kind of takes us away from the things that we love to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think when we're focused and when we're locked in, of course we locked in, right? And it makes us. Does it also bring you other ideas when you're listening to hip hop or to funk while you're doing your work?
It actually does. Yeah, there's been a number of songs. I can't remember that have actually pulled out some inspiration. You know, that I was like, wait a minute. As I was painting, it just was like, wait a minute, I like that. I remember the red, black, and the green, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Bam! Now I got a painting with the red, black, and the green." And there's all kinds of different things from music that will inspire you. Yeah, and it can take, especially if you have the gift of art. Yeah, you could take what you hear and see into a whole other place.
I like that, man. I really like that because some people don't understand how it takes to be able to have that type of art or the creative mind. Some people are born with it, like basically you were born with this.
Absolutely.
You had a family to basically help you keep that creative side, to you as well too. And of course, we had the music that went along with it as well too. Being a b-boy like yourself,
I do have another shout out, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You can throw your shout out. You can shout out.
Just another one. The main person that really put it in my mind that I was going to be an artist was my cousin Virginia. That's Donnie's mom.
Okay.
She was the one that
Virginia,
when I was a little kid, said, "You're going to be a famous artist," and I was like, "Oh, really?" And it stuck in my head to this day. Oh. Yeah. So, that's...
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cousin, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Big shout out to Virginia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Donnie, you're the bomb too. You're the bomb too. And that's cool because those are kind of the influencers that, we look at as well. And, there's other art that's out there of like Picasso, and Ansel Adams with photography and things like that, right? Was there any other influencers that actually that you can think of that kept you going?
Absolutely, and you just said one, Ansel Adams, one of my favorite photographers in black and white. His black and white Yellowstone and Yosemite image. That's why I'm so caught up in the black and white photography. I've always been caught up in it, but I never shown my skills as a photographer, and I don't really consider myself a photographer.
Sure.
Because I don't run around with a gigantic camera and a lens. I just use my phone. Right. But at the same time, that doesn't. I'm not limited to what I can do.
Yeah. That's good, man. Ansel Adams was my favorite. Yes. Right? That's one of my favorites as well too.
And I have MC Escher. That's one of my other all-time favorites.
Which one?
MC Escher.
Okay.
Yeah. You look him up. You'll see. It's weird stuff, but it's dope.
It's dope. Yeah. It's just the eye of being unique. That's what it is.
Very unique, especially him for his time.
That's hot. You already know my man Johnny, the muralist, Vergara. He's here with us today. Everybody want to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. 30 seconds. Let's go. Everybody, welcome back. Yes, it is me and my man Johnny the Muralist. Oh, tú sabes, Vergara, man. Hey, you already know, man. We're having such a great time. If you're just now tuning in, everybody, make sure you comment. Make sure you like everything we're doing right now. My man Cato from La Bomba Restaurante, Papa. ¿Cómo está? How are you, man? Good to see you. Yes, and yeah, we were just talking about you.
I'm coming to see you next week, Cato. I haven't forgotten about you, man. I'm coming to see you, man.
Oh, man, Cato. Hello, Beatrice. Thank you so much. She says, Beatrice says, where does Johnny see hip-hop music evolve into the future? That's one question. He said, will there still be some great talents coming out who can compete with LL Cool J, Grandmaster Flash, or Curtis Blow?
Absolutely.
Two great questions.
Yeah, one of my favorite new hip hop artists is definitely Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
he's a lyricist, man. He's a bad man. He's dangerous on the mic, man.
We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's an amazing artist, man. And I actually have I actually enjoy Future as well.
Future?
Yeah,
I like Future.
He's evolving himself as well. So
Yeah.
So he's definitely he has evolved.
Yeah. That's awesome.
As a great artist to me.
That's good, man. Yeah. I like Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is really good. He has that West Coast, you know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah, he got that West Coast flavor. I think they passed the torch over to him, man. Snoop Dogg and all those guys. And I think that when I saw that, I was like, oh, man, this guy's unique.
Yeah.
But I saw him live as well, too. So that's good. I hope that answered your question. Hello, Patty Escobar. Thank you so much for checking in with us. Saludos, man. Carlos Masas. How are you, Papa? John T for free. How are you? Thanks so much for checking in. MK Mary, thank you so much for checking in as well, too. And then we have none other than Donna Marie Bird checking in as well. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. You already know, my man. You already know. We got the boombox right here. I had to put on my track outfit, you know, partially. Had to do it. And, of course, we're going to get into the iconic boombox as well, because when it comes to murals, when it comes to graffiti, when it comes to breakdancing, when it comes to funk and disco, this all comes into play of what Johnny's been actually doing in his journey as well in the scene from back in the 80s to the 90s, the 2000s. Of course, we in the 2000s already, but, you know, we're in 2023. Johnny, my man.
Yes.
We got to talk about, of course, more of the murals, but I want to get back to what we're here for as well, too. Boomboxes.
Yes, absolutely.
So because, you know, I really wanted to put that on my shoulder, but I see how big it is, and I was like, I don't think think it's gonna be able to fit. But this right here, the boombox. What iconic message does it tell for yourself?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
Oh man, they mean a lot to me. There's so many things. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of my friends.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my neighborhood where I grew up. But really, it reminds me of just like good times.
Yeah.
Where everybody gathered when they had that radio, and once you, like you said, press play, or you put it on AM, FM, whatever station, and it's just like those memories of everybody just hanging out and nobody getting shot or killed, you know, and it was a good time, man. You get to listen to some good music and hang out with your friends, you know, and that's what it really does for me. It's just a lot of memories, and a lot of times these boomboxes weren't really affordable, and you know, at that time I always drove past, you know, the flea market and say, oh my God, that's so cool, that's dope, and I'm walking around with a transistor radio, you know, so
with the cassette,
so it was, you know, they bring back a lot of memories, but especially my friends. Yeah, for sure.
I like that because it brings unity, right? I think
does.
it brings unity. But whenever you had one, you put it right in the middle of everybody.
Brother, and if you didn't have one, somebody else had one.
Yeah.
Somebody had a boombox.
Yes.
That boombox, if all of us were coming outside, somebody was bringing a boombox.
Yes.
Somebody had one. So I was always that one that had the boombox.
Yeah.
Growing up, always had a boombox.
Did you ever have like a specific color of a boombox? Mine was silver, all silver. I had to have all silver. But then you have, of course, the one that everyone is seeing here, which is the black and gray.
Yeah.
Right? You had those iconic ones. when you were actually a b-boy back in the day, was there a specific boombox that you guys always had? Well, did you solo breakdance, or were you in a group as well?
I was in. We had our own little groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we the Humble Park Rockers and whatnot. Yeah, and but the boomboxes I was always drawn to be honest with you, were the ones that they call ghetto blasters.
The ghetto
here
blasters.
In Chicago. So everybody got their own way of calling either
Sure.
a ghetto blaster or a boombox.
Yeah.
But for us in Chicago, growing up, when in my neighborhood, the ghetto blasters were the ones they sold at the flea market.
Yeah.
The black ones.
The black ones, yeah.
And they were the more cheap version, but they were the more iconic version because they were huge.
Right.
And this is actually small compared to the other ones that are
I'm
50
sure.
pounds. You're walking around, so with these gigantic boombox. Some of them had handles and wheels that you would wheel. It was ridiculous.
Wow,
Yeah, alarms. They had alarms on them. It was crazy, yeah.
That's like pimping my boombox.
Yeah, the other higher end, models like JVC and Panasonic.
Yeah.
A lot of those were sold in like Sears and
Yeah.
Montgomery Ward. The more, upscale stores. But I usually find I used to love the ones with the disco lights and all the crazy cheap ones.
Yeah.
Which became the more popular ones.
Yeah.
Especially for me, it was the Lasonic. That was like
The Lasonic?
That was my favorite boombox of all time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
My mom, I think my parents had a Panasonic.
Yeah.
They had a Panasonic.
There was a lot of Onyx out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Onyx.
it
Yeah,
was a
I
lot,
had the
yeah. But the Sonic was my favorite. That was actually became one of the most popular boomboxes ever. Was the Lasonic.
Yeah. Collecting boomboxes is what you do as well. And when we talk about collecting boomboxes for many years, right? What made you start going down that path of collecting boomboxes?
Oh, that's a crazy story. So I always, like I said, growing up, I always had a boombox.
Yeah.
And didn't really take care of them. Some of them, they just broke or we threw them out, whatever. But I always had one.
Yeah.
But I was working for an organization not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and I was doing art programming for at-risk youth.
Okay.
And we were doing these, little shows and art shows and stuff like that. And one of the shows was about, a tribute to hip hop. So we wanted to include boomboxes into these paintings that the kids were making. And I had reached out to people on social media, and I was like, hey, if anybody got any boomboxes, man, they feel they want to donate or they want to sell cheap. And I opened the floodgates to coming home every day in my hallway and 10 boxes of boomboxes mailed to me.
Wow.
And it just got to the point where I was overwhelmed. I didn't know that it was going to happen like that. I became a collector without being a collector, right. Without wanting to be one. It was it just happened.
They just gave it to you.
And then I saw that there was a culture out there of, especially on the West Coast, of communities like different, and especially on social media, that of just people that collect boomboxes from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. So then I started to see the importance, not only the importance, but then I started to see the value of some of these boomboxes. I was like, okay, I'm not going to give these away. I'm going to keep these because some of them are rare and valuable.
Yeah.
But it just, being a collector was an accident.
Okay.
It was not supposed to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
And so that's how really that happened.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So because you were collecting this, not by choice,
right.
But it became a passion of you collecting them.
It
right?
did. It did.
And when you start collecting them, at what time did you say, I need storage?
I need storage now. I need storage now. Like, yeah, I do. I need storage, but I had to put a stop to it because it was getting to the point where now I have hundreds of these. I don't have 10 or 20.
Right.
So it's like, and I'm like in the high hundreds, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I had to stop it because I don't have any more room for them.
Wow.
And I'm not going to put these in storage.
Right.
So wherever I go, they go.
Right.
But
right.
It's right now. It's gotten a little out of hand.
Yeah.
So I had to put but there's always a cool one out there that I'm like, God, I want that one. So now it's become something else, So it's like, yeah. So it's a little crazy right now, but it's a lot of fun though.
I think that's one of the hardest parts.
It really is, man.
Being able to know that, man, I got a boombox that I can't really want to get rid of, and I got a boombox that I know because it's always something that's going to be better.
I promise I'm not a hoarder. I'm just a boombox lover. Yeah.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with the word hoarding as long as it's positive, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, as long as it's right. This is positive hoarding. There you go.
There you go.
Positive hoarding. Yeah.
I think boomboxes, and you guys let us know what you guys think about it. Hello, Millie Vasquez. How are you, mama? Thank you so much. Question comes in and says, does Johnny see a return of the boombox? Meaning did as far as profit wise. I'm sorry. No, the return of the boombox is in the era. That's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking money. Okay.
Absolutely. If you go online now, just type in Bluetooth boombox and you'll see what pops up.
Wow.
It's wild. You got these old school looking boomboxes with Bluetooth and new technology. And now everybody's going nuts for these radios again.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a thing again.
Yeah.
And the cassette tapes are becoming a thing again.
Yeah.
You know, you
that's crazy.
It's wild. It's just, you go on eBay, you can see cassette tapes that are like $500 for a Public Enemy cassette. It's ridiculous right now.
That's ridiculous. Man.
But
I don't know
it's
if we're
becoming a thing again.
Wow.
The boombox is actually coming back, and it's coming back really hard, actually.
I don't have a problem with the boombox coming back.
Yeah.
It's the cassette tapes, because I got tired of them breaking on me.
Well, to be honest with you, man, the cassette tapes for me were always the best.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I got tired of them ripping on me. Though,
yeah,
I played
it does.
them so
That
much.
kind of sucks when your tape rips. It's not cool, man.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
cool.
It's a sorrow thing, man.
Yeah, but the Bluetooth technology is awesome, because you could take something old school and added a Bluetooth adapter to this thing and just jam out all day.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so it's you still have the old school vibe, but the new school technology. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And these things sound good on Bluetooth, by the way.
Do they?
Just so you all know.
That's awesome, man.
Get you a Bluetooth adapter.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or just keep it old school, man.
Yeah,
if you got some old school tapes, just play it.
They got
you know?
Bluetooth tapes that you could put in your cassette tape. Just
Really?
So you all know. Yeah,
Bluetooth
it's
tapes?
an actual tape cassette. You could put it in there. It's Bluetooth. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool stuff,
Wow.
man. Yeah,
Wow.
so they're back. The boombox is actually back.
That's cool, man.
It's wild.
How many have you say that you collected?
Oh, I have hundreds. Yeah, I lost count. I lost count a couple of years ago at 300. So it's
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and it just kept coming in.
Yeah, they kept coming in. So
would you say 600?
Roughly. Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Let's do 600.
I would think, roughly.
Because 600 sounds like about right. Because the way that you actually have as many boom boxes.
Yeah.
When you're actually, and before we go to another break, and I hope you guys are enjoying this, because my man Johnny Vergara this is something that you guys need to stay up on, because this is an iconic milestone right here for these boom boxes. Not just being as far as on the show, but I didn't even know that they had Bluetooth. Right, Bluetooth boom boxes like that, because we think about Bluetooth, we think of a little speaker Bluetooth. Absolutely. And then connect, right? But we didn't know that the Bluetooth also was in the regular boom box. Now, is there certain models of? Speaking of that, it just brought me to another idea. Is there a certain model of Bluetooth boom boxes that's coming out now?
Oh God, there's so many. There's a lot of companies. You go on Amazon, eBay, you could see them all over the place now. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. But there's one that's really popular, the bump box.
Okay,
it's pretty
the
bump box. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Diamond box, bump box. You got Ion. You got all these different. Studebaker makes some cool looking ones.
Okay,
there's a lot of, but the bump box is actually really popular.
Wow, man, that's super crazy.
Yeah.
And there was I actually spray painted my boom box.
I did too. I
spray painted too. Did you have a specific color that you
I did. Red. That was my favorite
red.
color.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I had red.
I had one that I painted with the Metallica logo, because I was really heavy into heavy metal at that time.
Okay.
So I enjoyed they had a logo that was really cool. They had not a mannequin, mascot, I guess. I don't know what his name was. Eddie. Okay. He was from Metallica. He was like a skull, half dead kind of person.
Yeah,
it was kind of dope.
Okay.
And I put that on the speaker grills.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But I spray painted the whole thing red and purple, and then the skull. I tore that poor boombox up. Yeah.
Once it's your favorite, man. Once it's your favorite itself, it's automatically just like that. All right, everybody, you already know my man Johnny, the muralist Vergara, is here with us today. You having a good time, man?
I am. I'm chill,
man. I'm having a great time, man. I'm having a great time. Hey, we just learned about and bringing back the 80s. Ava Hickson is checking in, saying, I recently started to collect cassettes.
Oh, I see. I told you. It's a thing again. I'm telling you, it's a thing again. It is. It really is.
And Donna Marie Bird asks, say, does your wife like boomboxes?
Now she does. Yeah, now she does.
Somebody came in.
Now she does. She's got a couple of her favorites.
Does she?
Yeah, that are really cool, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she really loves them. So,
Big shout out to the wifey, man. Yes, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. All right, everybody. Of course, I got to tell you guys something about something that's really cool that I'm sure that you already know as far as for your kids. One of the things is after school matters. After school matters. It does matter because it keeps them out of trouble. And when it keeps them out of trouble, everyone, the good thing about it is that they're actually helping themselves to go down to a positive path of not being in trouble. That means that they're doing a lot, of course, what you can see right here. It looks like they're doing something really special with gardening, right? And you can see that that's just a way of actually getting close to nature. There's also programs that you can actually put your kids through as well for like work programs where they can actually get paid. I remember back in the day for me that I used to actually go to what they call Courtesy Home Center. And it's kind of like a Home Depot, right? I used to go like half school day on certain days, and then I used to go on work. That actually helped me stay focused. So get your kids into After School Matters, everyone, because I think it's going to be very positive. As you can see, they do have a website called afterschoolmatters.org. So make sure you go ahead and have them to apply and make sure you keep them, safe, sound, but keep them in the right direction. I really like this because this is something, of course, our youth actually needs, especially at this time of what's going on around the world. But you always need to make sure. And big shout out to the teachers as well, too, because the teachers are the one that's actually staying after school, and also some of the tutors as well, staying after school to be able to give them something of great hope to say, hey, you know what, we're here, we're backing you up. We want you to have some extra credit. We want you to put some money in your pocket so you can go out there and look presentable. So when you're ready to really get out of high school, and I think they're even doing, mostly for high school. But when you're ready to go to college, you know exactly where you want to go. So After School Matters programs, everybody, it's around the world. But of course, here in Chicago, make sure you go ahead and sing your kids to After School Matters. Let's get back. Let's go. Yeah. My man, Johnny Vergara. Yes. Man, Papa, man, I'm so happy that you're here, man.
Thank you, man.
So happy that you're here as far as with me today. It's always good to be able to see something iconic like this on the actual scene as well, too. I do want to talk about the picture that's behind us, right? Who is this gentleman? Do you know who this gentleman is?
Yeah, that's Isaiah, man. That's my wife's nephew.
Your wife's nephew, okay. Yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Isaiah.
From Kenosha, man. He's from out there in Kenosha, man. And he was hanging out with us for about a month, helping me paint doing a couple mural projects and stuff like that. And, And I asked him, hey, you want to be in my series of photos? And he said, sure.
Nice.
So I gave him one of the more...
this is like a more modern boombox.
Actually, no, that was from the 80s as well.
Is that from the 80s
that
as well?
That was Magnavox. That's when they...
Magnavox. I didn't even check the logo.
They came out with a yellow version of a boombox. It was black and yellow. It was really cool, man.
Nice.
I think it sounds really good, too.
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
and I thought that was a cool box for him to have. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I like that. So big shout out to Isaiah.
Yes,
right. Of course. And to the wifey. Now, because Chicago is very iconic, and the mural, there's so many things I really want to really continue to talk to you about when it comes to murals, but also as far as with the boomboxes. When you're actually doing a mural, do you have the boomboxes with you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I always take one. I take the new versions. I try not to take the older ones around because I don't want to get them damaged. Sure. Trying to preserve their life. But, yeah. So I got like a newer version that I always keep with me. It's an actual retro looking boombox, but it's Bluetooth. It sounds great. So I always take it with me everywhere. Everywhere I go, I'm painting. I take that little boombox with me.
That's cool.
Always.
That's cool. Yeah. So in regards to maintaining, right? Because you have to maintain these in order for them to work. So if you're actually picking them up and taking them elsewhere, right? For example, you had an event, right? That was this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken, right? When you're actually taking them to events, Are you also playing music through these boom boxes? I mean, select them. I mean, you got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But do you also play just to test them out, just to make sure that they're really playing, just in case somebody wants to hear music?
Well, at the shows, I usually don't have them playing. The speakers are they're old, so I want to preserve the speakers' life, because sometimes they get a little fragile, they get ripped. So I want to make sure that I keep them as original as possible. So I usually, if I do bring them, they're as displays only. They're not to be touched or turned, but they're turned on, so that way you could see the lights and whatnot. Some of them have the cool disco light effect, but a lot of times, actually most of the time, they're not on. Like, they're not playing music.
You're not playing. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're on, but they're not playing music. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you actually have them for more decoration, of course.
Really?
But also, these things are actually statues. You know, like
yeah, some of them are.
Like it's bigger. The bigger they get, the more they look like statues.
Yeah, they're massive. Some of them are huge. They're like luggage. So,
I like that, man. And when you're throwing events, are you allowing people to touch them? Or do you try to keep them away from?
No, not these. But I bring boom boxes that are no longer working or whatnot, and I use those as props so people could take pictures and do photo shoots with them, and they could grab those boom boxes and whatnot. But everything else is usually no touch. Just like the artwork, they're not to be touched.
Right,
right, for sure.
Man, I gotta give you death on that, dude.
Yeah,
that's important, sure. Man. That's important because sometimes people just want to touch things.
That's happened,
and that's like, hey, you know, I ain't got no insurance on that. You need to back off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's happened.
Maintaining. Have you ever repaired a boombox?
Minor repairs. I've done some minor stuff. I've done some stuff that I was proud of in the inside of them things, but usually I take them to places to have them repaired by professionals that know this stuff, because inside of those things, it's very complicated.
I can believe that.
Yeah, so I try my best not to repair them. Yeah.
You know, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's cool, because it's like having an old antique car.
Exactly. You don't want to do it yourself. You just take it to the guys that know how to fix it, man. You'll be all right. Pay the money. Let them fix it.
Let them fix
it, man. Sleep better.
It's so crazy, because there are some antique shops that actually does repair for old antique equipment,
and it's rare to find them now.
It's very rare.
It's disappearing.
Yeah,
the majority of the guys that work on these radios are in their 70s.
Yeah,
and it's like, God, I only got like 10 more years, man, for you guys to repair these radios. I'm like, damn it! All right,
like the Keymaster.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta get them all repaired now. So yeah,
I really love, man. I really love the work that you've done. I love the journey, though. I love your milestones. Where do you want to see this, as far as, because you are throwing events, right?
Yeah.
And we want to talk about that, right? Because I want people to know about going to your events. And I'm here to help, man. Like I told you before, I'm here to spread that love of being able to have your events. Talk to us about what your events are like. Of course, because your murals are very important.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to us about, kind of this past event and where you plan on going in the next few years.
Yeah. So, wow, this event, the Sound Barriers art show, it's taken on a whole nother thing. It's gotten a lot of buzz. It's picking up. It's got a lot of momentum. So right now, it's kind of a mixed media art show of photography of mine, acrylic paintings of mine, and small collection of boombox radios. And it's something that nobody's been doing, or nobody has done that I know of. And it's really just nice to see these art shows. People just have conversations with their kids or their grandkids and say, man, this is what we used to carry with us. And everybody's pointing at this. Yeah, you press that and it's play. You put the cassette in there, and the kids are like, what? And it's just so cool to see those conversations between, my generation and the new generation. Yeah. And just to see how the youth embrace the culture of hip hop, funk, disco, and boombox radios, and mix it all in and tie it all in with art, and turn it into an immersive type of crazy art show that everybody's loving. So no complaints right now. No complaints.
So with your events itself, how many people showed up at your past event?
So the numbers are up and down. The first one, the first one was unexpected. It was just a constant flow of people. It was a couple of hundred people that were coming through the doors, and the second one, it was the same. It was just like but it just became a bigger thing because it was during the festival, the Puerto Rican festival in Humboldt Park.
Yeah.
And it was just really nice to see that crowd, and everybody that walked in was like, oh, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
And every single person that walked in was like, whoa. You know, because you're walking into a storefront, a theater that was the Urban Theater Company. It's kind of a storefront looking, but when you walked in and you opened that black curtain, it was like boom in your face, like whoa, banners and music and hip hop DJ and art, and it was just a wild, beautiful time. And the most important thing, man, is that it was a safe place for people to go and enjoy art and music.
That's hot, man.
Yeah, for sure.
My man.
Absolutely.
I got something for you because we're about to end the show, man.
It better not be a boombox, dude.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No
Cool,
more
man.
boomboxes.
No, I'm just kidding, man. Bring it on.
Because I don't think I'll probably give my boombox to you. I'll probably keep mine.
I
man.
think I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to wind up staying over here at the studio, man. With all my boomboxes.
I'm probably like, man, probably going to ask you, hey, somebody else donate you one? Send that over here, man. I'm going to take something off your hand.
Sure.
I got a shirt for you, my man.
Oh,
I have
man.
something for you, man. And one of the things about, being an iconic person like yourself or going down that road of bringing iconic, features in people's lives, really matters, man. And, this shirt represents you of collecting, positive hoarding, right?
Yeah, positive hoarding.
Positive hoarding of boomboxes, but the iconic and the milestones of what the boombox has put together. The one thing I love that you said was community. It brought people together.
It did.
And it did. When you had a boombox, everybody wanted to be around it, right? Even if they were on skates and they were riding past and they had a boombox in their arm with an afro, they came over to actually join the festivities. Right. Your murals are very important because you actually show what the meaning and purpose behind that really matters.
Yeah.
Right? And it goes along with the boombox. Then you start getting into a little art form with Isaiah back here,
right.
And actually introducing, say, hey, this is what we used to go through. And then you're actually putting this all together to make an event to educate people, but also for your murals of a purpose for people to have in their homes. You're saving lives out there, man, because there's definitely keeping people accurate. So I want to say welcome to Rico No Suave Show.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
My boy. Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is awesome, man. So thank you so much, man. And might have to see if I can get a mural out of that. I have to see if I can get a mural.
That's right.
I have to talk to you about that. But yeah, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you.
We're going to put up your social media real quick. There's a couple of social media I want you guys to make sure. On Facebook, make sure you don't spam them. Just go John Vergara on Facebook. Make sure you say, hey, I saw him at Rico No Suave show. Make sure you please go ahead and just add them, right? Add them, but make sure it's with the purpose, right? No more boom boxes, though. Don't tell them you got a boom box. Send them to me. I'll start the overflow, right? I do love boom boxes. I ain't gonna lie. So this is a good one. Here's the next one. You already know Instagram, John the Artist 1973. Everybody, make sure you please go ahead and follow his work. Make sure you go and buy his art as well too. He sells his art as well too. If you want a mural for your business, you want a mural for your home, right? For the side of your house, make sure you go ahead and contact my man there as well too. My man, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, man. I had a great time, man. I had a great time. Thank you so much. Everybody, put your hands together for none other than my man, Johnny the Muralist Vergara. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here, but I want to thank you guys so much for actually being on the show with us today. But make sure you tune in. We have a famous photographer, producer, and director. His name is Chris Cufaro, who will be here. He did photos for TLC. He did Luther Vandross. He did a lot of great bands as well, too. But, of course, next week, everybody, we want to make sure you're here as far as with us. Here's our social media, everyone, before we get out of here. www.riconosuaveshow.com. Yes, make sure you go ahead and follow us there on the Rico No Suave Show. Here's the next one. Boom, Instagram, Rico No Suave Show. Make sure you follow us. You already know. Go and do it now. Here's the next one. Oh, yeah, Facebook, Rico No Suave Show. Just go and like and love what we do. And another one. Boom, subscribe. We're building our YouTube channel. Make sure you go to Rico No Suave Show, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notified. Last but not least, we have that Mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. make sure you please just go ahead. It turns into audio after a while. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here. And I thank you guys so much. And we'll see you as we end up the show just like this. Down.